Okay, let me be serious for a second. And it's not even that serious. If you contemplate suicide, there's a deep fearlessness, I would say. Not just a fearlessness, a deep fearlessness inside you. Why? It's because when you contemplate killing yourself, okay, it's usually because you feel a deep void in your life. You feel a void of meaning, you don't know what you're supposed to do, and you feel like you have a lot of freedom, and yet, by that same token, you're completely and utterly trapped. Okay, so you use your newfound freedom, your newfound realization, which comes from a variety of places, okay, and experiences. You use that same realization of the freedom you have, and then it has no outlet that you can see anyway, and so it turns on you. So you decide to use your freedom to kill yourself, basically, or at least dwell on that fact. The only other option is that you're suffering incredibly, kind of physically. You might want to end your life then, like a palliative thing, right? That's what they call it, palliative care, end of life care, or go to Switzerland. But that's rare, I would say. To suffer, genuinely suffer every moment of existence, then I would say even almost that's justified. Unless you're doing something to condone that way of being. But that's not the angle I'm coming from today. Today I'm coming from the angle of having a void, the more, let's call it a typical kind of, more typical sort of meaninglessness and wanting to get out, basically. Okay, so there's a very simple point here. It's the same fear you have, okay, of life, which is why you want to end your life. You want to exercise the new control you have. I'm sure I already made it implicitly obvious, okay? If wanting to die is your freedom turning on itself, then that means the original, or at least the opposite drive, is to exercise it with some kind of direction. Okay, so the same fear that would be your suicidal tendency is your fearlessness post that. It's your fearlessness. It's the exact same thing, and it's very simple. It's the same thing as, it's two sides of the same coin. So I just want to give you some reassurance, because if you feel that way, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That doesn't mean you should wallow in it, unless you need to for a while, because that does happen. If you are, that's okay too, okay, because you definitely feel a certain way. So when you feel a certain way, you kind of have to ride with it. But I'm just trying to calm your mind down. Your body's going to do what it does anyway, because your mind is going to go crazy. Your mind is going to lose your mind. You're going to be like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I want to, and if you're not actually despairing, you're going to be despairing about your despair. You're going to be like, oh, I just spent the past 2 days thinking about how I wanted to kill myself, or at the very least, just being completely useless. You little tweaker. This little tweaker. I think there's a little birdie, and he's caught on. See, when my dog barks, I won't even show you him. I want you to picture this. His whole body just shakes. He goes, ah, ah. Like he almost kind of jumps, and he kind of, the force of his own bark propels him back. Like he leans forward to bark, and when he barks, the force of his own bark kind of propels him backwards. It just jumps like that. This thing is, when I do it, and then my camera moves too. Możesz przestać? I asked him to stop. Okay, what's the point, man? What's the point? The point is, man, come on. If you're feeling bad, I don't want to lose that train, actually. You're going to feel despair, because then you're going to be like, oh, I spent the past 2-3 days a week being sorry for myself. What a waste of time. And see, in saying that, you despair further. Brain damage. BD. Brain damage. It's brain damage because it's brain damage, actually. And it will just make you feel bad for literally no reason. there's no actual tangible reason why you should be feeling bad, but you are anyway, because that's how you'll feel. Okay, so, whoa, man, it's all good, it's all fun. Okay, so then it begs the question though, that we can go a step further. Why not? Let's go a step further. Okay, so if you have a newfound freedom and will, and you don't turn it on yourself, you finally see, okay, I'm turning this. The first step is to realize I'm turning on myself. I'm being perverted. That's perversion. Perversion is, that's actually true. Yeah, perversion is anything that turns on itself. That's perversion. It can, and you know, sexually that manifests itself too. Actually, is that right? I don't want to question myself too much, because I know I think in psychology there's a meaning for perversion, but let's just call it, I'm going to call it that for this video. We're going to call it perversion. You're perverted if a drive that is directed outwards turns on yourself, and then you kind of start abusing yourself. You know, a big one is biting your nails, actually, because I think a lot of people have an athleticism, a proclivity to go out and do things, bish, bash, bosh. But when you don't do that, here's the thing though, because so many people are busy, they got a list of things they need to do. That's not real busyness though, I would say. It's the thing of like, if you turn on yourself, a good sign, a sure sign that that's happening is you bite your nails. Because you're literally, your body's attacking itself. It does not matter how many tasks you have in the day and how much of this and that you've done, because that can all come from your mind. So that can all come from a delusion, basically. Because again, it's like the thing I said earlier, the thing we were talking about, which is you can torture yourself with how much you didn't do something for like 2 or 3 days, and that's all in your head. And you can produce a real feeling in your body from that mental confusion. Okay, so in the same way you can produce like a confusion because you have so many tasks you had in the day, and you can feel like mentally accomplished, like, oh, I ticked 5 boxes, and yet still bite your nails, for example. You're still turning yourself physically because there's still a lack of fulfillment. Okay, so I was talking about how we can attain that fulfillment. Well, that's a difficult question, because that's really a question about what's your fate, what's your destiny. I think a good way to do this, a good start, which is something I'm figuring out too, is to look at stuff you enjoy, like irrespective of whether you're good at it. Like, what do you enjoy doing? What did you find yourself doing when you were young? What do you do anyway? What's your habit? Which is not like smoking. It's not like smoking or drinking or gooning or gaming. Like, what kind of habit do you have which is maybe creative? Or what kind of habit do you have which is maybe kind of unique? Unique, actually, that's important. It has to be unique, because we are all unique. It's impossible for people to be the same. Like, in one given community, I think if there's 5,000 people in it, there will be at least 3,000 different interests, like niche interests at heart in the community. But we're kind of, because society is so big and we see things as bigger than our local area, especially if you live in a city, the world seems so big that we all seem like drones in comparison, and it feels like our specific abilities can never find a manifestation. Because if my destiny is to be a watercolor artist who does portraits on very small canvases, because I have a very precise hand, okay, and I don't know that, how am I ever going to fulfill that in a huge society where I don't even have a contact to get started? You see what I mean? Like, if you do get started and you're in the big wide world, that's great, because you have all the marketing available to you. But if you're making a start on who you want to be, you have to be more local. You got to localize yourself a little bit. Like, what can you do to get started in your area? Like, what do you love doing? What do you enjoy doing in your area? Who can you talk to in your area? Okay, who's an artist in your area? I had a talk with, it's an example I use because I'm into art. So I found someone in my local area who's an artist, and I had a talk with her. And stuff like that really helps, because even if it's not the exact path, you still learn so much, and you have a conversation, and it's more than a win-win. It's a win-win-win-win-win. Like and then the only thing you could say you lose is time. But time doesn't really exist if you're thinking about like what you want to do, because when you find what you want to do, you're not going to be thinking about time at all. You're just going to be focused on the task. Okay, so it's kind of a worthy sacrifice, I would say. And I'd say that's a good place to get started. But we get lost because we have terrible habits, and we want to kill ourselves, and if it's not those two things, we're just generally feeling lonely and incapable, so we don't even try. So that's really the essence of it. So but it's ultimately a positive thing, because your drive to death is really the same that fearlessness of even thinking of taking your own life is the same fearlessness of confronting life. Because for one, you can always remember, as you pursue your life, your destiny, you can always think back on, well, I was going to just kill myself anyway. Okay, it's that same fearless. If my life is not worth this pursuit, then it was worth nothing anyway. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's that whole thing. A nice example is, that Boiler Room DJ, Yosuke Yukimatsu. He had a brain tumor and brain surgery, which there was basically a time where he didn't know he was gonna live past another 8 months, 12 months, something like that. So he just quit his construction job. He said, F all this, I'm gonna be a DJ. And now he created, if you just look statistically, the video's got millions, it's got 50 million views. I think so anyway. It's got 50, it's got loads of views basically. And it's just an amazing, he just did an amazing set, the Boiler Room set. I like it personally myself as well. The Kureki Takati, Kureki Takata. He mixed it with Firestarter by The Prodigy. He also had, there's a song on it called Residual Stress by Tsuzing. And it has no lyrics, and it's just like a beat. Dude, but I just love it. It's just such an amazing track. He mixed all that, and look, the point is, if you're gonna die anyway, you might as well go out doing something you actually want to do. So try and find that. That's kind of the most important part here. Anyway, this has been 13 minutes, so I'm gonna make a conclusion now. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have an excellent day. And if you're in London, try not to melt. Good day to you.